There's so many things. I can run reports. I've got hardware asset management I'm working hard on getting everything right. And that product has saved me so many hours of technician time, of customer time, that we couldn't live without it. My name is Jean Clark, and I am the IT manager for enterprise services at Gainesville Regional Utilities. I've been with the utility for 23 years. I love my job. I love what I do. I'm in IT, and watching the IT growth over the past 23 years has been absolutely amazing. We are a utility company. We also support the city of Gainesville, Florida. We have provided power, gas, water, wastewater, and fiber optics to the city of Gainesville and some surrounding areas. We also do anything for the city on their technology side. So we support the police department, the fire department, parks, recs, all of the city facilities. And we are critical infrastructure. When the power goes out or when your water's not clean, that is critical infrastructure for us. We are in Florida, so we do get hurricanes. And one of our major processes when we get a hurricane is that we start up the big businesses first, the life-saving. So we have to be part of the organization. We have to be a strategic partner with our business units to be able for them to go out and turn the power on for the utility. I have been there for 23 years. So when I started at the power plants and the wastewater plants, everything was done manually. It was you turning the dial and going out and communicating with the meters individually. But now with the technology changes, most of the applications we use, they can sit at a computer and maintain and operate the power plants, all of our lift stations, everything like that. So they have a strong visibility. So computer technology in a utility or in a city is critical. It is critical for our citizens, and it's critical for the individuals that work there. My journey with ManageEngine started approximately 15 years ago. At that point in time, I had an application that would deploy software to our endpoints, desktops, laptops, that kind of stuff. The problem was that the application that I was using only did MSI packages. I needed it to do executable packages because an executable package can encompass different things that it needs. Like if it needs a newer version of .NET or if it needs a version of .NET, the executable file will contain that and it will make that argument. So, okay, I went out and I started looking and I came across ManageEngine. Knew nothing about the company, absolutely nothing about the company. And I did a demo and I brought it on site in a very small, confined space so that I could test it. Now, 15 years ago, the internet wasn't as much as it is now. So it was very on-prem application. Started small with it and started doing the things that we needed to be able to do. At that time, we were only supporting the utility, so we had about 8 different locations across the city of Gainesville. To send a technician out to install a piece of software and then come back, it would take at least 2 hours. When I found that application, I said, okay, let me try and install it across the network. And it worked perfectly. And I went, great, this is going to save us time and money. And then I looked further into the application, and patch management was one of those things. And you think about patch management, you think about Windows, but you also have patches that are Adobe, that are Firefox, that are Google Chrome, that are all on these desktops, and not having the up-to-date packages would cause us problems. In fact, I remember the day that I did an inventory of all of our desktops with ManageEngine, and I looked at how many different versions of Adobe Reader we had on our desktops, and it had to be 23 different versions. So we started using the patch management for the third-party patches, and we were able to get everybody up to the same version. It was easier for our technical team to support those things. So we started doing the third-party patches. Time went on, that was working well. But in that time frame, our IT department was reporting to our CFO. And our CFO came to us and said, listen, you're the only team that uses this application. I need to know why you need it and what's the benefit. So I sat there and I went, okay, one technician, if he has to do an Adobe update, it could take 15 minutes of his time. Then the customer on the other end of the phone, we'd have to do 15 minutes of their time. So I calculated it out for just one patch. And I said, now Adobe does at least one patch a month. Then you add Google Chrome, and then you add Firefox. And I showed her the financial aspect of what we were doing. And she turned to me and she said, never mind, you can keep the application. Because financially, it was more reliable to do it that way. We had an inventory of all of our computers. We knew where they were. We knew, what was on it, what wasn't on it, who was using it, how many PCs were turned off. So it gave us a large insight into our end clients. So in about 2011, I went to my first user conference for ManageEngine. And I met this gentleman. His name's Romulus. Absolutely wonderful gentleman. And he was the product manager for Desktop Central. And Desktop Central was the name of the product at that time. And I have to admit, when I had, I only had one major issue with the application, and I tried to call support, and it was rough. Going through it the first time, it was extremely rough. But now, as I call support, and now I have an account manager that I work with, and I'm not one of the bigger clients, I have an account manager that I can reach out to at any point and say, I need this, can you help me? Whether it's a trouble, whether it's how to do this, do that. So I went to my first user conference, met Romulus, we chatted, we had a picture taken. It was absolutely wonderful. I was thrilled to meet him because I could ask him questions about the product and where it was going. So I come 14 years later and I meet the same gentleman at a user conference in New Jersey. And he looked at me and he remembered who I was. And I went, okay, now that's strange, first of all. And so we replicated the picture that we did in 2011. And since I've gone through so many upgrades with Desktop Central, and now it's called Endpoint Central, and you can do much more. You've got your mobile application, your mobile device application, you've got your OS deployers. There is so much added to it. And I've watched the organization grow, and I've watched the application grow. 15 years with the same application is a long time in the technology field because technology changes consistently. But one of the things that I've known about ManageEngine is they're changing with it. And I've looked at many of their products and we are a government facility, so we have to be very careful on budget. So having an application that I have stayed with for that long and not have to cut back on because of the cost has been immensely helpful. I hire a lot of interns, and when the interns come in, they get to learn how to use ManageEngine, Desktop Central, Endpoint Central for doing their job. We can deploy any application we want through with this with Desktop Central. We can deploy third-party patches. We can deploy BIOS updates. We can deploy anything. And in fact, when I went to the New Jersey conference, I learned after 14 years of having the application that I could do BIOS updates. Why was that important? Because we're going to Windows 11. We had to do, a chip update. To touch 3,000 computers to do that chip update would have taken forever. But with ManageEngine, I can do it at any point in time, and nobody realizes it's happening. I can install software to the customer, and before I've hung up the phone with the customer, that software is there. That gives the customer experience. For my customers, the people that I work with and have known for 23 years, that I call family, it gives them the comfort to know that we're taking care of them so that they can do their job. Also, in the Jersey conference, I learned about something that was called Secure Gateway because we have an on-prem system. And Secure Gateway allows me to communicate with laptops that are out in the field. During COVID, we had a lot of people that went out and bought laptops so that they could work at home. And there was no way that we could communicate with them. We couldn't do the patches. But now with the the Secure Endpoint Gateway and the BIOS updates and everything like that, I am now able to do that whether they're in the office, they're at home, they're halfway across the country. Wherever they are, I can do those updates and I can remote in and help my customers. We have guys in bucket trucks that use mobile devices, that use laptops, that I can now assist them. They don't have to go out someplace, have a problem with their computer, and then have to come back to the office or me send a technician to wherever they are. We can actually help them right there on the spot. So it's time saving. It's if you're at a customer's facility to turn on the power and then the truck has to leave to go and get its computer fixed, what is our customers, our ratepayers, our citizens going to say? So for us, it's critical to be able to help the individual right where they are. And that is what Endpoint Central has given me. There's so many things. I can run reports. I've got hardware asset management I'm working hard on getting everything right. And that product has saved me so many hours of technician time, of customer time, that we couldn't live without it. The three qualities of ManageEngine, and they've changed over the years, because when I first got it, the support was not there. Now the quality of it is the support that I get from the ManageEngine team, the reliability of the application, and the growth that it goes through, because it's like you take the comments that we make at these user conferences and implement them into your product just because it's the right thing to do. It's not, you're not making any more money because we're still paying the same rate, but it's the right thing to do. It's that next step. And watching the product evolve over 15 years has what's really made me stay with ManageEngine.